voters just sent a clear message. They are not happy with the state of the economy under President Trump. Is he listening? My panel is here to discuss. And look, just as a factual matter, CNN's Daniel Dale did a fact check on the price of groceries from January to September. The price of coffee is up 15%. A lot of that's the tariffs. The price of beef is up 14%. Bananas up 7%, also the tariffs. Cakes 6%, candy 4%, salad dressing 2%. In your home state, do people think the prices are going down?
Well, I've noticed he didn't mention eggs. That was something that was a consistent talking point, obviously, with the Democrats. The price of eggs. Look, prices are going down.
I eat a lot of other things besides eggs.
The prices are going down. The president is absolutely correct on this.
I just read you the statistics.
Well, you're talking about candy and things like that, but you all were talking about eggs for a very long period of time and some of these other commodities. Now, a lot of that is driven by energy prices, right? Because all these things travel on rail or truck or what have you. As energy prices start to come down, as American energy gets unleashed in this country, which President Trump has been so focused on, you're going to see prices continue to come down. Now, the president is right, though. We do need to focus on affordability in this country. That's something that we need to pivot to.
That's not what he said. He said, I don't want to talk about affordability. Everybody knows it's far less expensive under Trump than it was under Sleepy Joe.
No, when he's talking about...
It was a con job by the Democrats.
Yeah, when he's talking about affordability, particularly in health care. And he did just talk about that here just recently. Instead of giving a giveaway to the insurance companies, we should. Why don't we help the American people actually sit in on this?
I mean, it's a very difficult job. I appreciate the congressman kind of getting caught in this pretzel this morning. However, like electricity prices are actually going up. Everybody will tell you, average Americans will tell you that the price of groceries are going up. I just got a text message from one of my friends in Denmark, South Carolina, who told me that he needed help because he wasn't getting SNAP benefits and prices had gone up. He wanted me to help him.
Well, the reason he's not getting SNAP benefits because the Democrats have kept the government shut down.
He wanted me to help him make sure that he could put Thanksgiving items on his family's table. And so what I'm saying is that you have pressures from both sides, which most Americans are feeling. You see these prices are rising, they're steadily increasing. Congratulations on eggs, but these prices, other prices are rising, and then people don't have money in their pockets to afford to be able to buy them.
You're a pollster. What is the view of the American people on prices, on affordability, on the economy, how it affects them?
People still feel like prices are not going down yet. And there was a period of time where there was a lot of frustration with Democrats. Democrats found out the hard way that you can't just tell voters, no, we promise prices are great. We promise prices are great if they're not. Yeah. They got hit at the ballot box in 2024 pretty hard with that. Republicans may find out the same lesson in 2026 if voters have not come to a different conclusion. Well, now, there's still time. There's still time for that to turn around. People, I think, gave President Trump, said, okay, we're going to give you a couple of months to get your arms around this. But whether tariffs wind up helping or hurting, whether his policies on energy wind up helping or hurting, he will be held accountable for that one way or the other come next November.
Xochitl, you're a Democrat. I want to play an ad for a Republican. This is Elise Stefanik, a congresswoman from New York, who's running for governor of New York. Take a look.
Kathy Hochul made New York the most unaffordable state in the nation, crushing families with sky-high taxes, unaffordable rent, soaring energy costs, and record-high grocery bills. Elise Stefanik will make New York affordable and safe.
So some Republicans are getting the memo on affordability.
Yeah, it's smart. And I'll say that Donald Trump has not learned the lessons of Joe Biden. Joe Biden used to go out and say, our economy is great. No one felt it. That is exactly what Donald Trump is doing. And it's exactly why Joe Biden and Democrats have lost over the years. I will say, though, on the affordability message, Democrats, I will say there is not a lot that they're on message about, but affordability is one of them across the board where I do think that campaigns got that message. And now you're seeing Democrats win or overperform 90% of races this year because they are talking about costs, and people are feeling, just like Kristen said, they feel that costs are not coming down low enough, and that's exactly why they voted for Trump, but he just hasn't delivered.
Let's talk about the shutdown, because you just brought up the SNAP benefits. And Congressman, there is a move in the House and the Senate to talk about ways to change the Obamacare subsidies that the Democrats want to extend. They say that's the reason for the shutdown, why they're voting to not open the government, why they're not voting to open the government. Congressman Don Bacon, a Republican colleague of yours, working with Democratic Congressman Tom Suozzi, talking about doing that, but making modifications to these subsidies, having a more means testing of it, et cetera, more direct payments instead of to insurance companies. Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio said something similar on Twitter the other day, not the exact same thing, but the same neighborhood. Is there a possibility of a compromise afoot?
So that's actually not what I've been hearing as of this morning. What people are talking about, and I'm on the House Appropriations Committee, is moving forward on the minibus with a CR tag to that, not putting in ACA tax credit extensions. That's what we're talking about right now. That vote has been pushed. They were supposed to vote today. They're going to vote tomorrow. GOP is going to conference today on that and see if they can push that minibus forward with Senator Murray, who has been negotiating this with Thune and the other appropriators right now. So I think what you could see is a partial full funding where you got Milcon VA, Ledge Branch, Ag, which takes care of your SNAP benefits that the Democrats have denied the American people now with the shutdown. And so then we can bring that back and fund those 3 bills and then start to go through the rest, defense, labor H, so on and so forth. But CR probably till mid-January.
Well, it was, first of all, it was Donald Trump who actually denied the SNAP benefits. He's the one that went to the courts and asked them not to move forward with that. And that is why people are not getting their SNAP benefits right now. I'll say Democrats put a compromise on the table that they didn't want to put. This was, there were people on both sides that they're not okay with Chuck Schumer's compromise, essentially of extending ACA subsidies for a year. But that's what a compromise is. Not everybody gets what they want. And so it'll be interesting to see what is the end game here with Republicans. They've yet to put anything on the table to where it would reopen the government and allow people to get paid again. And I'm just not I don't know if there's an end.
Well, I mean, what we put on the table was we put a clean CR on the table. That's what we put on the table.
What I think is happening with the politics of this that are so fascinating is that in government shutdowns over the last 20 years, it has been Democrats who have said, we need to pass a clean bill. We need to pass a clean bill. Republicans are holding hostages. And the fact that the tables are turned here, I think, is what is causing the polling to be this stalemate where there's a slightly greater number that think Republicans are responsible. But earlier on in the shutdown, I think the pain threshold for both parties was they thought, eventually voters are going to blame the other side, so let's hold the line. I think as flights start getting canceled for Thanksgiving, I think as people stop being able to put food on the table for Thanksgiving, that pain threshold is going to rise and the impetus for compromise will rise.
That's why that talking point falls flat about the 14 CRs in the past that Democrats have voted for, because something transformational happened prior to this government shutdown, which was they passed this horrible piece of legislation that they now have to call the
Big Beautiful Bill Act.
Yeah. So what happened when they passed that piece of legislation? Healthcare premiums are going to skyrocket because of their ill-timed, unprepared, lack of foresight on a piece of legislation.
Ill-timed. They are literally the ones that put the expiration date on the ACA tax credits for right now.
That is why those healthcare premiums are rising. That is why this is different than any time before. And you know what? If we open the government and the prices continue to skyrocket for healthcare, that's on them. That's not on Democrats.
Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Has President Trump's view on shutdowns changed? We're going to travel back in time. That's next.